Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the 1245 Teams podcast. I'm Sean Derrick, real estate agent here in Northern Virginia, and I'm excited about today because you get to meet an amazing lender,
Thank you.
salesman. Amazing, right? I mean, people call you amazing, right?
I've heard it. I've heard it.
You've heard it. Well, you should hear it more because you are an amazing lender, guys.
Thank you.
Here's what I'm excited for you to get to just know about Doug. One, he's in the world of like making people's dreams come true. I mean, that's kind of cool. But he's also giving March monthly blessing giveaway. So we're not going to tell you what he's giving away yet until later. All right, but we're super excited for Doug to be hanging out with us today. So you're going to learn a little bit about Doug's journey, about the lending world, maybe some killer advice on some things about buying a house, and then kind of just what makes him and his business tick. So, Doug, thanks for hanging out with me, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Sean.
this.
I appreciate being here. Really.
So, before we dive in, Doug, tell everyone, who are you?
Well, my name is Doug Salzman. I live here in Virginia, born and raised in Virginia. So a lot of years now. I think, just an average guy. I like to say hardworking dad, I think is what I usually refer to myself as. I am a mortgage lender. I like to think that my job is to help people buy homes, but
Yep.
I also help them with other finance and advice. A lot of counseling and discussion and giving advice around home ownership. But I like to narrow it down to say, I help people buy homes, but I also have a life outside of that, which is wonderful. I am very blessed to have a beautiful wife and two beautiful daughters and all of the good things that go along with that. But when it comes to
How old are your daughters?
Erin is 24 and Ella is 21, soon to be 22.
Okay.
Erin is a successful young lady, a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
graduated and licensed and doing great things in the world, tearing it up.
All in Virginia?
Yeah, Erin moved out this past year and she's on her own and she's living in Virginia, supporting herself. And she's a nurse at Mary Washington Hospital.
Okay.
I
All
hope I
right.
can, I hope I can say that. So yeah, she's Mary Washington Hospital, works in the ICU, and what I
Awesome.
see is an amazing nurse.
I tell you, man, these careers are incredible, but it's the families that make it so worth it, as we see our kiddos getting on to the new stages of life. It's awesome. So, Doug, I got to know, man, what made you get into the mortgage business? Like, was there a moment that you just woke up one day and said, the world needs Doug financing dreams?
If I approached it that way, like the world needs to plug me in to a missing part, but I did have a pretty specific journey of transitioning into this field. Long story short, basically, I was with a company for 13 years and on a very corporate track to succeed and to move up. And the evolution those last few years was in a position and be promoted. And the company was Kmart Corporation, company I loved. I pictured myself the 30-year guy in this company. But the retail world was changing and the company was making a big commitment to me. And I was facing a promotion from Virginia to Michigan. And knowing I did not want to live in Michigan the rest of my life, I thought sooner than later I should make a change. And with the support of my wife, that's was very
Yeah.
strong. She said, "You can do anything you want to do." And I set out to search for what I wanted to do. Mainly focused around customer service and what can I do to help people and serve people. I thought I did that pretty well. It certainly worked out in Kmart.
Yeah.
Thought about finance. I thought about sales and really came around to an opportunity to get into this field, which wasn't my expertise, although I was, decent at finance, decent at operational numbers and things like that. And I just jumped in with both feet, made a decision and started in this field as green as can be. Things that I
Okay. Yeah.
things that I did not understand at all are now is second nature, as you can imagine.
Absolutely. Was there, I mean, so how many years ago was this?
That was 25 years ago, December 1st. So
Okay.
25 years and 2 months ago.
Okay, that's amazing. So, as you look back early on in the days when you made that decision from Kmart to thinking that was going to be your career, going into the mortgage business, I don't know, was there like a specific deal or maybe a person or transaction early on that just kind of made you think, yep, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Anything
I
come to mind?
Yeah, it does. I do remember the very first client I helped buy a home. I remember working so hard to get there for myself and for her. The first house that I ever financed was in Fort Washington, Maryland. Lady's first name was Darnell. It was a VA loan. The first loan I ever helped somebody buy a house with was a VA loan, and she knew nothing about it, and I didn't know much more, but I knew where to find the answers. And I remember fighting very hard to get to the uh, completion of that point and feeling very satisfied when I sat there with her the day she bought her home, and it was a great experience, and that was a very memorable experience, and I still know Darnell and still talk with Darnell and have had many times I've helped her with finance as well as her husband and children and friends and coworkers. Although there are a lot of great experiences. Helping someone buy a home part is the memorable part.
So I'm curious. Like, what's a crazy memorable transaction? Like, it could have been something that was going really bad and you saved it, or it was just a hard person, it was a great person. I don't know. Like, what's one of the just super memorable? Like, give us some nitty gritty of what made it memorable.
I remember some of the ones I remember. I had two brothers once, both buying a home at the same time. They both had the same first and last name with a different middle initial.
But in different
Jose,
houses?
different houses, two
Okay.
gentlemen, same field, same business, same first and last name, different middle initials. So it was Jose O and Jose N. And I talked with them frequently because they had kind of a complicated business structure. They own their own businesses, each own their own businesses in the same field. And it was a great business. That's a different story. But
Yeah.
I remember going to the underwriter's office that was across town and sitting with her and talking about how these two folks were going to get approved to buy their house. And I knew it could be done. It was difficult, but sitting with her for about an hour, we came up with a plan on what they could afford, why they could afford it, and how we were going to approve it. And both bought homes. Both have refinanced those same homes. To my knowledge, both guys are in the same homes. Um,
Wow.
it's been a few years since I talked to him, but that was a good one. Now most of those conversations with underwriters are over the phone, but sometimes you
Right.
do collaborate with another professional to figure out how to make home ownership work out for somebody.
Well, you know what I love about that story is you actually shed light on something that I don't think a lot of people know is like when they come to you for a loan, they say, "Hey, will you pre-approve me?" And correct me if I'm wrong, you're collecting all of the information to make sure you can get the underwriter to approve it.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, the underwriter is always the person that does the real approval.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm the person that makes the decision if it's going to work. And the better decision I make, the better it works. The decision, knock on wood, the decisions I usually make for a pre-approval almost always do work out with the same plan in underwriting. But, everything's not, cut and dry. And that's where some expertise when figuring things out, get more folks into homes that they want and should have and can afford.
And that's where, I think when we kind of compare lenders, hopefully everybody's got great intentions, but it's the understanding the whole story because you've got to put together a package to go get the underwriter to approve it. So you're asking all the pre-qualifying questions because you're trying to say, can you do all this work and go get this loan for them? And that's where experience really matters, right? I mean, between a newbie, which everyone's newbies, but the real difference between someone who's been doing it a long time and a newbie is you know the questions to ask, you know what you can get to the end zone. Would that be accurate?
It's real accurate. A real good, kind of how that works is sometimes you look at someone's qualifications, income, assets, debt, credit, and it's very clear. The path is as black and white as it can be. And those quick, easy pre-approvals. And then you move into the counseling part of helping them learn about buying a home and give them what they need to make home purchase decisions. But a lot of them are not that cut and dry. But you realize there is a path and you help the client come up with what that path is. And that pre approval might be a 2 day or 3 day or 4 day, or you might set that pre approval down and think about it and come up with another idea. If that doesn't work, come up with another idea. And we're not talking about anyone buying a home that shouldn't. We're talking about figuring out how someone that should buy a home can if it's more difficult. I really believe a big part of my success has been not really giving up on something that should work and also knowing things or digging into things to figure them out where the rules work in our favor, and
Mm-hmm.
let's just lean on those.
100%. So I'm curious, this actually might even relate. I've only been in this business 11 years. And in my 11 years, I've seen so many lenders come and go. I mean, the turnover is insane. And, hot markets, right? Coming in, interest rates go down, a lot come in, interest rates go up, a lot go out, poof, right? But you've stuck around 25 years, man. I mean, you've gone through some of the hardest market shifts that we've seen.
Absolutely.
And like, what makes you do that? Like, why are you still standing when so many others have kind of ghosted?
A big part of my identity is hard work and working and being, successful. That success though is knowing I work hard. The
Yeah.
success is not necessarily the monetary part of it. So, not that there was ever really a choice not to have a career for me,
Mhm.
because that's how I was raised. So, wanting to be in a career, wanting to have that longevity, wanting to be able to get to the end of something, be that 27 years, 28 years, 29 years for me, wanting to be at the end of something and feel that success and look back and say, "Hey, I've had that part of my life." That's probably a big drive for me. But when you say people have come and gone, they have. I
Mhm.
can remember in 2008 going from an office of 25 down to looking at three of us.
Wow.
That coming back and growing back to working now with hundreds of people again, which is very nice. But never give up and wanting to be in a career and liking what I do is probably why I'm here.
I tell you, commitment to work hard for people. So I've loved training agents. I've helped train agents, get agents into production, talked to a lot of people who've wanted to be agents, and I kind of know what it's going to take. And after a couple conversations, I just have a gut. I know if they're going to make it or not. And honestly, it's grit. It's grit. And it's hard to define it, but you can see it. And there's that grit of just, man, they work hard. It's a commitment, it's a personal loyalty to it. And that's what you just communicated, which, yeah, I think that's what it takes for people in real estate to succeed. So as I'm listening, you got 25 years of experience, and I just want to know, as you think about an audience of first-time home buyers, think about folks who are maybe buying their 10th house or multiple rental properties, what are your top two pieces of advice when it comes to getting a loan?
I'd say for home buyers that have not done it yet, well, even second timers, third timers, realize you probably can. Having the confidence to know that you probably can buy a home will help more folks step towards home ownership. Clients put up barriers so many times. I cannot do this because of my credit, because of my job, because of my sister's uncle told me I couldn't do this. If people have a little bit more confidence that they can, and then they make two good decisions. One is a realtor, it's the most important decision, and a good decision to find a strong lender. Those two things put together will help more people get into homes. Most folks I find that tell me I can't buy a home. Most of those folks can. It's just a matter of figuring out how. And then the other piece of advice, make sure you're comfortable with the details. First, you have to know the details of what you're doing. So a realtor and a lender telling you where you're going, painting a picture, giving you a roadmap, and then giving you the data points that you should know. Even if you don't know to ask them, the data points that you should know, you'll be in really good shape.
That is so good. You just said two biggest pieces of advice is confidence and choose your dream team wisely, which is going to be a real estate agent and a lender to educate you along the way. It is so true. We were just talking to a person renting yesterday, and same thing. She's making $10,000 a month. She's paying $3,500 in rent, and we're like, "Do you just want to buy a house?" And she's like, "Yeah, but I have a furniture credit card and I really want to pay off my this. I can't get a loan yet." Well, don't be a Google doctor on yourself. Go talk to a lender because your dreams can maybe actually come true. That's why I say, dude, you're the dream maker.
Thanks.
That's awesome. So as you're thinking about top two, what's one of the biggest mistakes you see people make?
You never want to get into a payment that you're not comfortable with.
Mm.
One of the worst things about buying a home would be sitting in your living room worried about how you're going to make the payment. Don't buy too high. Make sure you know the numbers. Make sure you budget for it.
Yeah.
Talk about it with your family. Make sure everybody's comfortable with what you're doing. But the payment, once it starts, it's not going to stop.
Yep. That's so good. All right, Doug, we're doing this because one, I want folks to get to know you. But we're also doing this because you were excited about doing the March monthly blessing giveaway. Like when we talked, your literal was like, "Yeah, I want to do that."
I think you had me at the word blessing.
Okay.
So we all could probably count our blessings a little bit more. But what you're doing with this is so special. And I would like to contribute, and I'm happy to be a part of it, to give something without really, a need or a reason, but to bless somebody with a gift or something special. I think I'm ready for that, a little bit more of that in my life.
I love that, man. Well, thank you for being willing to have that kind of excitement to bless others. It says a lot about you. And what are you giving away? Like, what is this blessing for the March giveaway? What is someone getting?
So there are so many choices, but the giveaway is going to be a bed and breakfast opportunity stay in Williamsburg, Virginia. An amazing part of Virginia, Williamsburg.
Dude, I love that. Bed and breakfast in Williamsburg.
Yes.
Okay. So why are you giving that away? Do you like it there?
I certainly like it. An experience, and you guys led the charge on experiences are special and blessings. Experiences are blessings. As we mature, we realize things are a little less important and experiences are more important. And certainly those are where you make memories. But with Williamsburg, I'm a Virginia guy and always have been. I love history. I love that area. I love everything that it has, from the accommodations to the restaurants to the historical museums and opportunities. And I've been there myself many times. And if someone can take, themselves or their family or whoever they choose to take and experience some of the things I experienced, I think they would greatly enjoy it.
Oh, I love this. I love it. You are so right. Giving the gift of experiences creates memories. Memories last forever. We often forget about the stuff. We need stuff, but we forget about it. So, man, thank you so much for being willing to bless someone. And all right, if you're watching this, here's the deal. The whole purpose of this is creating momentum to bless people. Doug is helping lead the charge here in March by giving this giveaway, but you guys need to register. But here's what's cool is we're doing something a little bit different for March, is because we want you to register. So when you register, we're going to ask you to put someone else's name in the pot as well. So yes, your name will be in the pot when you register, but when you register, you're going to put someone else's name in there because you hope that maybe they win it. All right. So the whole goal here is bless, right? So if that other person wins, I'm going to call you because you registered, but I'm going to say, hey, this other person won. and we'll just be able to get excited. So bless others. Think about, share this. Who can other people know? Because that is the way that we, I think, just love one another. We get in this community. We think about others often before ourselves. So thank you, Doug, for leading the way, man, this
Absolutely.
month in doing this. So, folks, if you have lending needs, refinancing, if you have buying needs, if you just have just advice needs when it comes to a future loan down the way, what to
Absolutely.
do for your credit, call, talk to Doug. Doug, what's easiest ways to get a hold of you?
Call me, really. I usually pick up the phone. If I don't, I always call you back, but call me to talk shop. I enjoy it. So please do.
I love that. I love that. Well, we'll have Doug's contact information right in the description. So make sure you reach out to him, give him a call if he can serve in any way, and share the monthly blessing with folks so that you can bless others. Monthlyblessing.com is how you sign up. Super simple and easy to be able to receive and bless others. So God bless. Having a
God bless.
wonderful, 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 warmer March.